Peace, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's your boy Tyson from Urban Life News Magazine. Today we're sitting with Miss Aisha Hall, and it's our pleasure to finally sit down with her. We're seeing her work on the gram. She's making a lot of noise. She's putting out some dope music. She's from Long Island, Strong Island.
Strong Island, age 21, hey.
You know what I'm saying? So we definitely have, and she's a female holding it down. Her paperwork is good. She's gonna set a few records straight, and she's gonna tell her story. And then you can catch her. You can see this interview in the next issue of Urban Life News Magazine, or watch it on YouTube. But whatever you do, you don't want to miss it. So we welcome you.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
You doing good? You all right?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great, actually.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. What's your name? And I already said your name, right? It's a little bit redundant, but I like to hear it from you.
My name is Aisha Hall. Aisha Hall. Aisha Rochester back in the day, but you know, my life changed a little bit, so it's Aisha Hall. That's been my name for most of my adult life.
Okay. You said your life changed.
Yeah, I got married. I'm divorced now, but Hall is actually my maiden name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I married my high school sweetheart at the time, Terrell Hall.
Terrell Hall.
Yeah, T Hall from Freeport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Freeport native.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my homie, one of my closest friends now, but my name is still Hall because that's just what everybody knew me as.
Oh, all right. And so y'all still cool today?
Yeah, we cool. We close.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. And so where you from, specifically?
I'm specifically from Roosevelt. I was born in Roosevelt, you know, and then my parents moved to Freeport later on. And I ended up going to Freeport schools and living in Freeport. I lived all my life between Roosevelt and Freeport. So.
Okay. Strong Island. How was it growing up back then?
Yo, you know what,
man? In Roosevelt.
It was great. Growing up in Roosevelt, it was just like everybody knew everybody. You know, everybody was black. You know what I'm saying? So. It was just like that was our neighborhood. That was just family, like everybody. You know, we had its rough patches back in the day.
The community's more connected, right?
Yeah.
You remember Cherries on Nassau Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these young people don't know nothing about Cherries and Babylon Turnpike and Nassau Road.
I mean, my pops used to like run that whole area for a long time. So I've been all through Roosevelt. You know, pretty much knew everybody, and just loved the whole vibe. You know, it was like very close knit.
Yeah, dope. Absolutely. So when you say, and I don't know if you really want to get into that now, but when you say your pops used to run that whole area, who's your pops?
My pops, Colin Rochester, aka Prince Colin, aka Daddy Prince. You know, just like one of the most stand-up dudes I've ever met in my life. Not saying that just because he's my father, but just watching how he moved, watching how like people just really respected him, you know, watching him teach younger guys, watching him just get money, you know, watching him just be just an honorable person overall. And being a musician, I got so much out of him. So
Prince Colin,
was dope.
He definitely I never met him personally, being from Long Island, but his name definitely was all over the place as being an official stand up, right?
Yeah,
Prince Colin's name rings bells.
I mean, just think about it.
I was all in Brooklyn. I was talking. I mean, the country.
No, it's okay,
I be talking to dudes in Brooklyn. They're like, "Yeah, I know Collins." He's all over the place.
Everywhere. He knew everybody. He was like the hood celebrity. Like everywhere we went, people knew him. They respected him. Wanted to be in his presence. I learned a lot from him. Learned how to carry myself. You know, basically, you talking about a guy who takes his 6-year-old daughter, teaches her how to play chess. Not just the moves, but strategy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just different. You know, allow me to make mistakes and then sit and break them down to me what they mean.
That's dope.
You know how life works.
That's dope.
You know, took me to, you know, I went to church, but then I went to the Hebrew Israelite temple. My pops was a Moor, so I was able to get a taste of all the different studies out there and come up with my own conclusions. You know, made me a little bit of a rebel. A lot of people don't really like the things that I say sometimes because it's, you know, what do they say? A big lie a big truth could be destroyed by a little lie. You know, or opposite. A big lie can be destroyed by a little truth. Right. Works both ways.
Yeah.
But in my case, it was more so about the big lie being destroyed by a little truth. And I talked too much about the little truths, and it made people sometimes uncomfortable.
Of course.
But I got that confidence from my pops, who told me, don't believe nothing. You either know or you don't know. And that's been really my mantra, like, all my life.
That's deep. Either you know or you don't know. There's no gray area.
It's none.
And if you don't know, you should
seek to know.
Or humble yourself to.
Right. To say I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody who knows. You should listen. Become the student.
That's right. But people have a hard time with saying I don't know. They have to have the answer. It's okay to not know. It's okay. Yeah. You know, and then when you have people who know everything, those are the people he taught me, watch them, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think it's okay to not know everything. I think there's a lot of pressure in trying to know everything.
And you can't know everything.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Everything is non-ending. It's
knowledge is infinite.
That's right.
So there's always somebody else's perspective anyway.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And all we are a bunch of perspectives, figuring out perspectives. We look at something, it's only 3 things that exist we talked about, right? Matter, energy, and perception. How you put those 2 things together and how you analyze them is all that really exists. It's just your opinion on what you see. You might see a pot of gold. I might see a heavy ass just thing in the way of where I'm about to push my cart.
It's your perspective.
It's your perspective based on your perception.
That's interesting. That's a dope perspective, right? Okay, so you from Roosevelt. You said you grew up in Freeport?
I grew up in Roosevelt and Freeport because my grandparents live in Roosevelt and my parents had a house in Freeport.
All right.
So you're talking about going back and forth.
So you got friends, so you cool with both people.
Right. You know, man makes these lines of Roosevelt, Freeport, Hempstead, but at the end of the day, this whole area, that's our area. You know what I'm saying? You got to get off on exit 21 for all those spots.
That's a fact. So, it's all our area, Freeport, Roosevelt, and Hempstead, right?
Right. Take away the street signs. It is what it is.
Yeah, one body, one
body of one mass.
Yeah, one mass. Right. All right. So ultimately, you landed in prison.
Yes. It was a journey though, getting there.
Yeah, because I didn't want to jump the gun from childhood to talking about your dad to the prison experience. But I would like, if it's possible, for you to tell us your story about what led up to your eventual incarceration in whatever fashion you would like to give that up.
Okay.
Because for the sake of what we're talking about and who we're going to be talking to and who's going to watch and read your interview, I believe that truth is important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was definitely a journey. It definitely didn't happen overnight. It definitely was an accumulation of events and things that led to that. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up watching my father hustle. I grew up seeing a man take care of his family that never had a job, you know, but always had money. You know, so obviously he was in the street, you know, selling drugs, doing different things or whatever. Very serious guy. I came home one day, I remember seeing a guy tied up. He said he stole from him. My father was just very, like, militant in some ways. So I grew up seeing that, you know what I'm saying? And I grew up seeing, you know, Daddy, can I $5 to go to the store with my friends? And you got to go through the hundreds, you got to go through the 50s, you got to go through the 20s. Go to the 10s.
So as a young lady, you see this.
Damn, you know what I'm saying? And then my grandfather, you know, is a retired fireman, but he also worked with a tree service that did a lot of like jobs that got contracts. So sometimes he come home, you know, he bring home 5-10 grand. So I'm just seeing like these hardworking men in my family.
Okay.
And it definitely rubbed off on me. Well, I want to be independent, you know. So my hustle started very young. I was a teenager working at Jones Beach, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I used to, you know, the bikers would come there, and they had beer limits. Yo, give me $50 and I got y'all. So the hustle was always there, you know what I'm saying?
The early hustle.
Early hustle, you know. Coming up with a way to make a little extra. And then it went from there to getting my first job. Every job that I had, I saw that there was a way I could improve whatever the company was doing. So I was always trying to come up with a way to make it better. I was always trying to come up with a way to improve whatever it was that was going on around me. So what that did was open up the door for me to really get involved in entrepreneurship. So my first business, you know, was I had a laundry to go service. I also had a another business where I did like a kind of like a penny saver, but in Roosevelt, Uniondale, Freeport, going to different businesses. Like, give me $25 and I'm gonna put your business card in my little paper, and always coming up with something.
Yeah.
And then I took the what I like to call the gateway drug, which is in the mortgage industry.
Okay.
I started, being into the whole lending thing. I was a processor, I was an underwriter, I was a loan officer.
Okay.
But doing that, I got to see money.
And I remember the mortgage industry when I came home in 2004. That was close to the end. People had already made a lot of bread.
Yeah, this was like this is when 2003-ish is where I was like really heavy in it.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing young guys pull up to the mortgage. I'm like doing cold calling, telemarketing. We'll give you $50 for every person whose social security number you get that they'll let us run their credit. I'm like, okay, and I'm young, 18.
Yeah.
I get 5 people, $50 a pop. I'm doing okay with one day,
That's a fact.
But I'm seeing guys pull up who aren't that much older than me in big Benzes and pulling up in Lamborghinis, and I'm like, what are these dudes doing? Oh, they loan officers. Oh, word? What is that? Find out, I get involved in that. Next step, I'm underwriting. Next step, I'm doing all of these different things. But in that business, you see all the people that are getting money. You doing a deal, somebody putting 200 grand down. Well, what are they doing to put 200 down? Now I'm seeing careers that I never heard of. Now I'm seeing things that I wasn't exposed to, because in this game, people who are buying houses, who are putting down large down payments, have money from somewhere. And their loan application kind of gives me a cheat sheet as to what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So it made me inquisitive.
Information.
Right. So that leads to what ended up happening when I got into the trade business. I found out about trading commodities. Trading is nothing but buying and selling. A lot of people don't know that. It sounds so complex.
Yeah. Sounds intimidating.
Yeah, it does.
Like trading.
What's that? But it's just buying and selling on a regular basis, usually multiple times a day. And I had a loan for a guy. He wanted to cash out with like $5 million. I said, I don't have anybody to give you that kind of money, but I can get you like 2. And he's like, no, I needed to trade. I'm like, what's that? So he explained to me, I'm a private placement trader. I trade commodities. I'm like, explain this to me. He explained it one time. I did my research. I can do this.
Yeah.
So I became a problem solver. Why everything I'm looking up about trading is all like older white men?
Okay.
Like, why isn't this more popular? There's so much money in this game.
Yeah.
So I looked up what is the reason, and it's the qualifications. To trade, you have to be worth 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, crazy numbers that the average person, even if you balling, you're not sitting on 20, 30, 40, 50 million.
So that keeps certain people outside that game.
Exactly. Yes, that triangle is this real skinny at the top, you know. So I'm like, how can I get involved in this? What can I do? So I realized that even if you come into the table with $1 million, if you don't have that net worth, they're not going to let you in these private trades. It's oil, beryllium, rubber, silver, gold, whatever. You're not natural gas. You're not getting in that because you don't have the net worth. So what I started doing is I get on the phone, and actually I was very young when I did this, started calling up billionaires on my own, okay? Yeah. Listen, I have an idea where you can lend without any risk. No such thing exists. Click. Anytime you lend something, there's the chance that the person won't pay you back.
That's a
so
fact.
There's a risk.
And they want to know how long and what's the damage.
And now what if you
let me just ask you a quick question for clarity. Were you getting direct to the billionaire, or were you getting to a representative?
Representatives at first, but then I ran into one person. I don't want to put their name out there because of my case and stuff like that. They didn't do anything wrong, but I just don't want to,
of course,
bring unnecessary attention to someone. But anyway, my idea was, I have people, or I've seen people who are interested in trading that don't qualify, but all they need is the paperwork to appear as though they have these funds, but those funds aren't needed to trade. Those funds are needed to qualify. So basically, if you come in here and I have a spa and somebody says, I want to spend $500 doing this service, and I'm like, if you're not worth $100 million, I'm not doing anything for you.
Okay.
But they're like,
it's almost like a membership fee.
Yeah. But they like, but your service only costs $500 and I have it. What's the problem?
My service is the bomb.
Right. I just don't want your kind here because you're not valuable.
So I'm sorry. Is that a way that they keep certain people
100%
outside of that game?
Yes. That is the problem. So if I got $1 million and you got $1 million, we both, $1 million is $1 million. But because you have $500 million in the bank and I might only have 1.5. my million is not as good as yours.
So there's levels to everything.
So there's levels. But I was going to burst those levels wide open. That was my plan. And that's what I did. And I think that's why I ended up going to prison. But anyway.
Okay.
So what I did was I connected the small fish, the guy with the $1 million, with the person who had the $100 million. And I said, listen, you're going to put my client, you're going to do an acquisition. You're going to merge my client with your business for 30 days. When that takes place, my client is now part of your business and now has those assets in their name temporarily. And they're gonna pay a fee for that, and you're gonna protect your account. You're gonna make it, for lack of a better word, deposit only.
Okay.
So there's no money taken out.
Okay.
But those details won't be made available to whoever they're doing business with. All they're gonna see is John Doe is now worth $100 million. Period.
So it's almost like. So you get the credibility of being connected with an established business.
That's right.
Even though you're a millionaire, but you're not a $20 million investor.
Which is really like the only reason you want me to have this amount of money is because you're trying to keep the money with the same group of people and not spreading wealth. And money needs to circulate in order to remain valuable, especially in certain communities. So at the end of the day, I felt like I was being a hero. I'm helping people qualify for things they would have never qualified for and make millions of dollars in the process, me and them.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that what you did, people are doing every day, but because of where you come from, it was looked at a little bit differently?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't a unique idea. I may have had my little unique niches in the business, but I didn't create that. That had been going on. The problem was that it's still going on heavy, more than it was before I went in.
Absolutely, the game evolved.
Yes, it evolved, and but what happened is I undercut everybody price wise. What I was doing, people was charging $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, sometimes $1 million for, and I was charging 150, 200 grand.
Okay.
But this is a client. You know what I'm saying? So that you're talking about a lot of money, and you're talking about multiple deals closing weekly. So, at the end of the day, you're talking about a young girl, 24, 25, busting out $1 million a month.
Yeah.
It was very lucrative, and it was very fast and very unexpected.
Okay.
But a lot of people were able to jump on and get in and get money that would never have been able to do it before. But where I did mess up though. So.
Okay. Well. You mess up. You say you messed up, but we know that everything in life happens for a reason.
Oh, absolutely.
And there are no true mistakes in the universe.
That's true. 100%.
Right? We can never be where we are if we're not meant to be in that space.
That's right.
At that moment and in that time. This isn't slick talk to justify wrongdoing that I might do or anybody else. But the truth
wrong is another perception.
That's right, because is there such thing as right or wrong?
I don't think so.
Thinking makes it so, right?
Right. Perception.
James Allen, the author of As a Man Thinketh, said, thoughts are neither bad nor good. Only thinking makes it so.
That's right.
But what makes certain things wrong is that in the eyes of the so-called system.
Absolutely. You're 100% right, because what I did was a favor that ended up being the thing that got me caught up.
Okay.
Clients coming to me like, oh, your process is cool, but you're talking about 2 weeks, and I can't wait that long. The trade door's going to close.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll get you the paperwork. It won't be 100% legit. It's not going through all the channels, but it'll be enough to get you in the door. You spend your own money. I'm getting you in the door. And I did that for a couple of people, and that's what ended up getting me in trouble. The false paperwork.
Okay.
But if they didn't get it in the time, you find out about something on Monday, the door closes for it on Tuesday, but my process might take a week or two.
Okay.
So if my process was going to work, it needed to be faster, but I didn't control the banking systems and how fast they did different things.
You just expedite the process.
Mm-hmm.
You sped the process.
Didn't steal nothing from anybody, didn't take anything illegally from anyone, just changed up some numbers faster than they should have been changed, basically.
Well, see, this is this is Urban Life News Magazine, right? We don't give a damn if you did do something wrong, or and we're not endorsing this, if you shot somebody, or if you, whatever it may be that you have done. You did your time for it, right? Because we don't get into the moral aspect of things. That's the relationship.
But no, I put that out there because...
No, I'm just saying for the sake of clarity.
Oh, yeah.
you did your time.
Right.
You did something. Yeah,
Right.
you might have fudged some numbers, or
Right.
you might have created some documents that help or speed the process up. But
Right.
you ultimately paid the price of
Right.
incarceration.
Over.
And I don't
paid
even
the
like to
price.
say pay the price yet, because oftentimes we get overcharged.
That's right.
They give us a B felony when it's really a D felony.
10.5 years for changing numbers on something that harmed no one.
They didn't give you 10.5 years. They gave you 10.5 years for being a young black woman
That's
with
right.
the intelligence to be able to do that.
Right.
That's what I
discouraged.
believe. Yeah,
Mhm.
right. And that's what that is. Think about it. Why would you get 10 years for that and you didn't hurt nobody?
And I met women who, Wall Street women, who have had cases, 250 million, crazy numbers. And they're, oh, I'm doing a year and a day. Oh, I'm doing 6 months. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And not only that, this is the crazy thing. A lot of these cases, the money is gone. In my case, the money was in the bank. I was only in business for a short time. So you're talking about millions of dollars in the bank that they snatched. They didn't have to go looking for it.
Oh, they snatched the money from you.
Or they snatched the money. Yeah, they snatched the money. They didn't have to go looking for it. They didn't have to go get a whole bunch of cars and try to, get the cash value from them. They took cash, cold hard cash,
And you would think that in a scenario where they get the cash or the assets back, that they will break down the charge or give you less time.
Not at all. Yeah, actually, what's even more scarier is the clients that I've given this paperwork to, they labeled them as victims. I could have went harder on the client situation, but I didn't want to see anybody get in trouble. You're coming to me and you're paying for something, you don't have 100 million, but you're paying for that.
So you know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
paying
Yeah,
for.
you know what you're paying for.
Did any of them speak on your behalf?
No, they probably were threatened and told that if they did, they'd be also
A part of the
so
case.
they would have to pick either they're a victim or they're a co-conspirator.
Absolutely.
So I have this charge of 50 victims or more,
Okay.
but there's no victims that come forward.
Okay.
So it's like, where's these victims? And I didn't want to push that issue too much, because then I would have to explain why they're not victims, and then I would have to explain what they did, and I didn't want to do that. So I was kind of stuck in the middle a little bit.
So you took the honorable approach.
Yeah, I did, because I knew what I was doing, and I just did what I knew I agreed to do, and I wasn't gonna.
So you stuck to the rules of what the way your father raised you. You stuck to the rules. You stuck to taking responsibility and playing the game super fair in the way that people probably didn't play the game with you.
Oh no, definitely not. But integrity is everything. You know what I'm saying? Which is basically, even when you don't have to, because it's gonna benefit you, you still do the right thing.
True.
And that was, in my book, the right thing to do. I'm not gonna sit and throw people under the bus because I'm caught up for something, and I think that that's a lost principle.
True, I believe so as well. That's almost like when you're growing up and you guys are playing tag, and you get caught and your friend don't get caught, but you say, yo, they got us.
Right.
Yo, they see your sneakers, you behind the bushes, come out. And your friend come out and say, what you mean?
They had you. They didn't have me.
Yeah, you was it. You got to be it by yourself. Nowadays, people want you to be it with them.
That's right. And I don't really know if that comes from fear. I don't know if that comes from just cowardness. I don't know because this always existed, but I just see now that it's so much more accepted. I came home kind of shocked to that. Like, what is going on? Why is it okay? Who's teaching people these principles? They're not teaching it.
It's terrible. There are no principles.
There are none. It's bad.
And there's these so-called tough guys.
They the worst.
There's the so-called tough guys who so-called bust their gun. They're the ones, excuse me, who feel like they don't have to follow any rules. And they're getting away with it.
Getting away with it completely.
The integrity
100%.
in these streets are at an all-time low.
All-time low. And there's a lot of things. I came home to seeing, like, the feminization of so many men.
Absolutely. That's another thing that's going on.
But I also blame the system as far as, like, the snitching thing, because it's like, I should not be faced. If I have a small offense, if I'm selling, let's say I'm selling crack, for example. You know, I should not be tell or life. The odds, the sentences are insane. You know, and it's set up in a way to make people make these insane choices. You know, I have a lot of friends who are doing life that I met over the years, and it's like, you're doing life for what? And it was like, tell or life. And it's like, that shouldn't even be, to me, the options. The sentences don't match the offense.
It's an extension of plantation justice.
Absolutely.
Right? It's an extension of rules and regulations that are not designed to create equality and justice, but their sentencing laws are designed to keep a people in check.
That's right.
And if you talk about this with people, they often call it conspiracy theory. But it's not a theory, but it is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
They only put conspiracy with the word theory. Conspiracy is not always a theory.
That's a fact.
But they make it so that those words they're a pair. Conspiracy theory, so that it can never be taken seriously.
Yeah. But it's true.
It's 100% true.
And if we look at the evidence of this country and the place that we are in the prison system, we see the evidence. But you know, they got us diverted with all kind of other foolishness that we aren't looking at the real issues. So how was prison for a young woman?
It was terrible. It was terrible until you get adjusted to it, like you get adjusted to any other negative thing in your life, whether it be poverty, whether it be illness, whatever it is, you get adjusted. But initially, it was very difficult. First, I was in denial because I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything that bad to deserve this amount of time. So something's gonna happen that's gonna change these circumstances. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm really here.
Going by.
So it really hit me when the tragedy started happening outside of prison, like in my home, in my personal life, and I couldn't do anything about it. And even if I couldn't do anything about it being home, at least I would have been there. So that's when it really started to hit, like, this shit is real, you know. Like, my brother got killed, you know.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he got killed by Nassau County Police. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is happening while I can't go. I can't go be there with my family. I can't go, you know, be a part of this experience, you know, for my siblings, for my mom, you know. I got my pops deported. He can't come. That was the first tragedy. It was terrible. Then I get a call that the house burnt down to the ground with all of our belongings in there. Lost everything. Then I get a call that my pops was murdered, you know. And this is all happening while I'm incarcerated. And there's nothing I can do. So that is when I really felt the pain of prison. It's like, I still got to stand up for count. I still got to be, you know, in my regular routine when I'm mourning, you know,
Very
and in a lot of pain, and nobody cares. My sisters did, the women around me, they comforted me, fed me, made sure I was good, but overall, the quote-unquote authority didn't have any remorse or care. They didn't give you any time to breathe, and it was just like, get back up, Hall, get over there, Hall, lights out, you know.
Very
everything was
unemotional.
it was just crazy, and that is something that I don't wish on anybody. Especially people who aren't that strong-minded, that can really break you down, you know. So I'm just grateful that the things that my father had instilled in me were able to be put to the test, and it actually
They came to
benefited
fruition.
me. Yeah.
They started to wake up in your spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, all of the things you used to talk about, people used to say he was crazy when he talked about, you know, just different things, Illuminati and you know, just the powers that be and their agendas,
And the chessboard came
absolutely,
alive.
the chessboard came all the way alive.
Right, because in
everybody
prison,
was a piece.
in prison, chess is a big thing.
Big thing.
And I'm not even talking about the physical game. I'm
That's
talking
right.
about the spiritual, the mental, the politics. You have to be a chess player to even survive that environment.
You have to, especially with women. Women can be very conniving. You know, can be very malicious.
They say women are a little bit more devious in the prison setting. You find that to be true according to what you may know?
Yes, absolutely. I know men, you know, testosterone sometimes makes you react immediately off of things.
Yeah.
So your intention is sometimes more exposed, more on the surface.
Yeah.
You know,
men is pretty much. There's a little bit of gray area, but with women, there's a little bit more.
Could be a little bit more. I'm gonna get this bitch.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play. You know, women can be a little
play
bit
the long game.
Yeah.
And then they start getting allies behind the scenes.
Start getting allies. Women are very emotional. So if you're a dominant thinking woman, you can bring in other women and kind of take over their minds.
Yes.
And get them to go with whatever it is. Let me tell you how, and it's crazy. You probably would understand. You're a man, but I'll tell you something about something in prison. Sorry, I got a little bit sick. Something in prison that you know who's the dominant female.
Okay.
You know, every woman has their cycles in prison.
Yes.
People have different days. You know, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, maybe the 10th. If you move into the room, your cycle will change to the dominant woman in the room. This is something that they might say is like, you know, oh, that's hocus pocus, but I've seen it. People come in and say, oh wow, you know, my cycle just went off its back. But then you realize whose cycle is on. It's like yours is submitting to her. So now you're gonna be on her schedule.
Wow.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Wow. Now let me just ask you a rhetorical question. What if you're strong too? Or there's always a dominant?
Well, that didn't happen every time.
But for the most part, you've seen that take place.
I've seen, and it's crazy because it's not something that you would really understand unless you were around a lot of women constantly and saw that. Because it's crazy. It's like, you know, you'll have people come into your room or into your cell or your dorm, and their bodies, their whole thing will conform to whoever is, you know, the alpha.
That's interesting. You know how I can believe it? I can believe it because as a man, having done a significant amount of time in prison as well, I've seen other strong men come into a new dorm, a new setting, or the new environment, and I watched the weaker followers begin to mimic these men and start acting like them, you know, start talking like them all of a sudden.
But that's powerful because with a woman, what's happening is beyond the physical that you can see. This is going into the physiological. And that shows that, you know, cells submit, you know,
ain't no question.
On a very small level, you have submission and you have levels to stuff, you know?
It can be manifested in the physical world. Okay, so when did you meet, or I don't know, the Pink Panther Clique?
Oh, okay.
Right? Because that's where you met your sisters inside prison,
yes. Right? Well, it would start with Shawana.
Okay.
Who I'm sure you'll talk to soon. That's my sis right there. I met her at MDC Brooklyn. She was younger than me. Probably about 4 or 5 years, maybe. 4 or 5 years younger than me. And she was like maybe 20, 19 when she came in there.
All right.
And she just had this spirit about her, and I felt bad for her. Like, she's so young. What is she doing here? But she had come in for credit card fraud. And she was the swipe queen, you know.
Okay.
And she actually would have gotten a lot more time. Because, you know, in the feds, your time is weighted based on the amount of money.
Okay.
If you have a white collar crime. The way they weigh drug charges based on quantity.
Weigh it by money.
They weigh it by money.
And then they use the sentencing guidelines,
yes,
right?
The sentencing guidelines, right? And that all goes together. The amount, it's no different than the drugs. It's all weighted.
All right.
So she would have gotten a lot more time, but they stole. I think she got charged with $50,000.
Okay.
But they took like $500,000 from her.
Wow.
And never reported it, and she couldn't say nothing because now you going to really say you have more? You want more time?
Yeah.
So, you know, these crooked feds stole the money, you know? And it's like they can steal it because I'm not about to sit here and...
It is what it is.
Yeah, bye. You know, I'm going to get less time now.
Yeah.
But anyway, me and her had gotten very close. And the families got close too because we all had visits at the same time.
Okay.
And that's another thing. We were able to get so close because when I went down to see my lawyer, it usually was during the male visiting time, and you had to like squeeze on through. It's so packed, you know, women, the mothers, the baby mamas, the girlfriends, the side chick, whatever. Everybody's there. You're talking about 100 people in a dorm. And of those 100, you're talking about maybe 60 of them on a visit, and you're talking about 2 or 3 people usually each on the visit. That's a busy visiting room.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
100 women, you're talking about maybe 5 or 6 of us on a visit, and you're talking about maybe 10, 15 people in a visiting room. So when I went down the first time and saw the male visiting room for their hour versus our hour, I was like, wait, it's the same. You got 100 men, you got 100 women in each dorm, but the men have so many people coming to see them, and the women, visiting day, you only see 4 or 5 women going down for a visit.
Wow.
So what happened is the visits became community visits. You know, we all get to sit and interact with each other's families because there's only a few of us.
Okay.
So that's how I was also able to get very close with her and her family, her mom, her dad, etc. And we remained very close. She ended up getting out, and then of course some other stuff came up, and they sent her back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were flip-flopping between the state and the feds.
Oh.
But while she was in and she ended up going to another prison, she met Jamila. And she told Jamila, yo, my sis Aisha, y'all would probably mesh really well because she writes books too.
Okay.
Now, at this time, I had probably written about 12 full novels.
Oh, you wrote 12 full
novels? I wrote 12
novels.
novels, yes.
Okay.
I published 6 or 7, and some other ones I did not publish myself because I was ghostwriting for other people.
Oh, so you're a writer as well?
I'm a writer, yeah, big time.
And for our listening audience, you have how many books out now?
Right now, 7. Boss Life, Kima Lamar, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Caught Up Loving a Boss, The Backside of the Story, King's Reign Supreme, The Pink Panther Clique.
Oh, you wrote the Pink Panther Clique?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
The Pink Panther Clique I was the lead writer. Jamila and Sunshine were contributing authors.
Okay.
But I was the lead writer on that book. And we all came together. So you brought
your sisters?
Yeah, they actually brought me, to be honest, because it was Jamila's idea.
Okay.
But how I met Jamila was Shawana, who was at Danbury now, met Jamila and told her about me. Jamila then mailed me a bunch of copies of books she had written. Right. And they wouldn't let me have them because on the cover was prison IDs. And the warden was like, you can't have this stuff and all this other crap. But it's still, stuff. I was intrigued by her and what she had done. Okay. So coincidentally, she transferred to Alderson.
Wow.
And she came to me in the cafeteria. Yo, Miller is like real, like, you know. Yo, I heard so much about you. Yo, yo, we got a link to this. I'm like, all right. She's like, yo, I got this crazy idea for a book. Pink Panther Clique. You know, I used to have Pink Panther records back in the day. So I like the name Pink Panther. Pink for like the chicks. Panther for strength. Yeah, I'm like, all right, that's dope. So we became like this. All right. And we worked, you know. We worked on a plan every single day. We sat outside in the yard. I mean, the guards like, there they go. Yeah, there we go.
Yo, you know, in the strange way, prison in that space is a dope experience.
Oh man, what?
Because I've walked the yard with some brothers that I met, and when we walk the yard and we chopping it up about whatever it is that we might be talking about, whether it be business or family or something that stresses us out, prison disappears in that space.
It does. It does. I learned the real value of the mind and the imagination and where it can take you. You know, every time I wrote a book, I left prison. And not only me, but my sisters left as well because they read it and they were all into it. First, they were intrigued by the fact that somebody with them was able to come up with this. And also what I did was I started writing plays. And you know, I used the rules of the federal prison system that allowed us to put on plays. Okay. And there was a budget and all of that to do plays in the prison.
Oh, that's official.
So you're talking about 1,000 people coming in. The rec turns into we got the big stage. You know, they were making costumes for months at a time. The women are hand sewing. You know, we got the mic system. They had to order all of that. I'm like, this budget. Get the mics.
Oh, so it was dope.
It was dope. I mean, I never knew I could do that stuff. And I'm talking about this was Broadway for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it was like, we're not in prison right now. I mean, the line was around the corner.
We about to put on the show.
Yeah, and the guards, it got to the point where one time, they're not even supposed to touch you. The warden, I'll never forget, we had a black guy. He was assistant warden there. He came to the play. He said, I'm about to bring my family here. He said, I can't pay for this type of entertainment. He gave me a hug and said, yo, you're going to go places with this writing. This is amazing.
Wow.
And it was like the morale of the women, the tears, the plays would evoke so many different emotions. You know, it would be dancing, singing, acting, and even if they weren't that good, I always found a way to include,
and
you know, yeah. Absolutely. So it was a big eye opener for me about what's possible through the arts. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it changed the way that we were doing our time. When one show ended, it's like, when's the next show? Yo, 4 months. That 4 months while we were waiting, practicing, rehearsing. Oh, I gotta go get ready for the show.
And staying away from stuff that can take you
right.
from the show.
That's right.
Stay away from bullcrap.
That's right. So busy.
Yeah.
And it just kept. It was great. It was a good mental thing for everybody.
Okay.
So I was happy I was able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it was some good things that came out of that. I can't say it's all bad. It's like how those monks in Tibet go up in the mountains
because
and they
life
get that
is life,
solitude.
right?
Life is life, no matter where you're at.
Still living.
You're still living.
It's unfortunate that we, have to live in prison, but you still have life. And
still have life.
Something that...
And you learn to love yourself. Out here, the hair, the makeup, nails, all of that. You don't have that.
You get lost.
So in there, it's like, you better learn to love yourself. I don't like my nappy hair. A lot of the stupid, ignorant stuff that we say and do.
Something that somebody else put in our mind.
That's right. Now you're forced to deal with the self.
The real you. After strip the layers.
That's right.
Yeah, and you learn about your power.
You learn.
I remember one time when I really went to the box, I did 285 days. To some of our listeners and people who are going to read this, you probably said 285 days ain't nothing because you're bugged.
Right.
Right? You don't even know you're bugged. But that joint, that came up to about 9 months. That almost killed me in there.
That is different.
It almost killed me. The walls used to move. Oh, man, forget about it. But it taught me about who I was, and it taught me a psychological and a mental power and a spiritual power that to this day I like to believe it can't be touched. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It teaches you, and you know what I'm saying, it teaches you about you. Because when you're out on these streets and you chasing your vision and you get caught up in living everyday life, you forget to go inside and do introspection and to stay in touch with who you are.
That's right.
And so that's why there's a lot of people that's lost. So when I speak with people, and I often speak to people who are just coming home from prison, I tell them that don't leave all your prison experience in prison.
That's right.
Bring those principles, bring those lessons home with you, because you're going to need them to survive out here.
You do.
And
we're gifted. Prison gives you a gift. It gives you the gift, if you pay attention to it, of appreciation. I go out all the time, me and my friends that I was locked up with. And it's like we go have a meal, and everybody is having a meal, but our meal is just different.
That's a fact.
This is the meal that we were waiting for.
Y'all talked
Every
about
bite
this meal,
is
right?
special, huh?
And y'all talked about days like that, right?
We talked about, don't you wish you could have a nice grilled this? Like the small things, sitting on a couch with a remote, watching what you want to watch, and have to fight with bitches over, I'm watching this first. It's just like the things that you don't really think about.
What you got to say right now to the chicks fighting over TVs?
Yo, stop fighting over the TV. You're going to get to come home, hopefully you come home, and watch whatever you want. Let them bitches watch what they want to watch, okay? You know what I'm saying? Don't lose your good time and all that over the TV. It ain't worth it.
Yeah, that's right. It
ain't worth it.
So the Pink Panther Clique is you, Jamela,
Sunshine. Are the three founding main women, because we wrote the books.
Okay, so the clique is based off the idea of the book.
Right, and not just the book, but that's what really set it off.
That's the springboard. That's the foundation.
Spring, right. Then you have Shawana, who I told you about, who really introduced all of us.
Oh, okay.
So she was a major
part.
Yes.
She's the glue.
She's the glue. And then you have Sunshine. I wasn't with Sunshine at Alderson. She was with Jamila and Shawana at Danbury.
Okay.
Okay, but Sunshine is the reason why we got the popularity, because she was home while we were still locked up, and she created our social media platform.
So she gave y'all a voice.
She gave us the voice. So you got one as the
shout out to Sunshine.
Absolutely,
for that, right?
Big time, yes. I'm getting on video visits with her, and I'm rapping, and she's posting those videos of me spitting, and people start writing me like, "Yo, you can spit! Like, what's up?" Like, so that was super important.
That's dope.
Yeah. So we all played a role.
Okay, so you touched on something. She put your videos on social media so that people can see you. So how important is that for people who are out here in the free world, who have someone that's incarcerated, that they could be a platform for,
right?
That they can help get their movement off the ground.
Absolutely. Listen, you have no idea as a free moving person what you could do for somebody inside. Just small things. How many times do you Snapchat? How many times you on Instagram and do videos? you can do those same videos and things like that for people who are locked up. You don't even have to have them live on a video because there's some legal issues with that.
Of course.
But you can post pictures, you know, whatever they're trying to do, whatever they want to do when they come home, you can start to get the movement going with that. They want to open up a business or they're thinking about a job. You can kind of start that process, you know, for them to make it a little bit easier. That's what was done for me.
That's dope.
You know, through Jamila, her mom, she had the publishing company, her mom did. So we were able to not only write the book, but then we had a way to publish them.
Okay.
You know, and then Sunshine making it, you know, so available for us, for the world, on social media. Then of course Shawana being the glue, bringing us all together. So, you know, then you got also like other members like Brandy Davis. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was in the group chat. Yeah,
okay.
She's from Detroit, but she lives in Atlanta. She just was on a show from the bottom up. It was on BET.
Okay,
yeah,
from the bottom up. All right.
And she was just on Ayanla. Now she's getting ready to do something else. I think with what is that show? I forgot the name of it. It's another network. She's getting ready to do something.
Okay.
Yeah, so now because of all of that, we've been approached by so many different television networks, you know, OWN Network, VH1, Bravo. Everybody wants the Pink Panther story.
Oh, that's dope.
Because they've never seen anything like this. People have this vision of who women are who are incarcerated. You know, we all have no teeth. You know, we all was baby killers. You know,
all got dark Caesars.
Yeah, right. Everybody got the cornrows. Like, what's up, mom? Let's do it. You know, that's the image in a lot of people's minds. So when they see us, and you know, we try to do our thing, get a little fly, whatever. You know, they're like, they was in prison. You know, a lot of people don't believe it. So we changed the way that people view women like that. Incarcerated. Let me get a little bit more involved.
And you're probably inspiring other people who have women that are locked up to reach out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We have hundreds of thousands of followers.
That's dope.
You know, I get hundreds of thousands of impressions on my Instagram. I have like maybe 30-something thousand followers, but you know, I've only been home for a year. So I've built that up. These are not purchased followers. This is like the real deal. Organic. You know, so people are really fucking with our movement. They really like and respect what we're doing. We ain't perfect. Nobody is.
Nobody
Difference is we're not scared to talk about it.
It's real women, real people with real experiences that people are going to hear and benefit from. Right? And that was the whole purpose of us having this talk, so that people can benefit from your experiences. And so perhaps you stop a young girl or a young lady or an older woman from going through
what I went through.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Or give them the strength to make it through their current situation.
That's right. Or to know that I'm not telling you what to do or not to do, because I love getting a bag. You know, and in this country, there's ways to do it legally and there's ways that you can do it illegally. But everything you do has consequences. Legally might be a little bit more slow, but you don't have to look over your shoulder. Illegally might be fast, but there may be consequences. So my job is to be an example for what you need to prepare for. You can go either way. I don't tell people what to do, but I tell people that be prepared to deal with what comes from what you do. You know what I'm saying? Be prepared to deal with whatever the consequences are. Because I was young, I got a lot of money, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel that everybody deserves that. Not looking at prices, not worrying about bills, taking your family where they want to go. The more the better. That's me. And I think that once you experience that, you want it. Now the challenge is to get that and not have it taken away from you or end up in jail. And that's what I'm doing right now. Navigating that. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, and you know, I came home to nothing. A lot of people are like, oh Ish, I know you hid money. No, this is all relationship.
You should have said, yeah, I did hide some money, but you never wrote me, so
that's a good one.
You can't get none.
That's a good one. And I just want to acknowledge and shout out to like Weezy and Sal, you know, Sonny. These are people who was riding with me when I was hustling and grinding, and Weezy and Sal end up going to jail. You know, they worked for me, and they I hate to even say worked for me. They was my brothers, you know what I'm saying? We worked together. But, you know, you're looking at traditionally, they worked for my company, and they got a lot of time, and they never talked. They were told, y'all can walk away. All y'all got to do is say da-da-da-da. And they was like, just take me where y'all got to take me.
Wow.
You
I'll
know,
take my medicine.
Yeah, and you don't see that anymore.
And so they're incarcerated now?
They're home now. I had the most time. So they all came home like, one was 2 years before me, one was a year before me.
Okay, so you can talk
so
right
Weezy and Sal, I love y'all to death. Y'all are like last of a dying breed, you know, and anything that I get y'all know y'all got, you know, because that's a different way of living, just being so loyal and being just so real, you know. So I appreciate y'all so much for that. And it's important that people know that people like that do exist, but you gotta watch who you work with. You gotta watch who you bring in your circle.
Absolutely.
Because everybody is not built for the weather, the bad weather. People, oh, it's sunny, it's so nice, and you getting all this money. Yeah, I love you to death. As soon as stuff goes bad, they're nowhere to be found. But you have to be responsible in your choosing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be mad when you associate with certain people and you get certain.
And you knew that this person wasn't of a certain caliber.
They're corny. You know,
you've accepted them in your circle because of numbers.
Because of numbers, or maybe because of how they look, or you know, just things that aren't really based on anything important.
So you always have an inkling. You always kind of know, right?
You know.
And so, before we go, there's another woman, I believe, that you were telling me about, or that's incarcerated and she has life or something.
Oh, my sis. I want to definitely talk to her and about her.
Yes, please.
Yes, her name is Sandra Rucker. Also another one, Michelle West. I don't know Michelle personally, but Michelle West, everybody knows. People have been fighting for years to get her life sentence changed, you know, and I want people to continue to do that, to write letters, you know, to ask that these laws, these guidelines be changed so that she could be released. But personally, somebody who I'm very close with, Sandra Rucker, that's my sis. She had 14 life sentences, plus 360 years, plus 360 months, plus 360 months, plus 240 months, plus 120 months, and 5 years probation. I mean, that's a 6 sentence. And she did not sell drugs. She did not actually commit the crime she went to prison for. You know, they say that her man did, and she got charged in conspiracy. She didn't have any sales. She didn't have any, there was no like recordings, nothing. You know, this was witness testimony. And you know, in the feds, witness testimony is considered actual evidence. So at the end of the day, you know, Sandra, you only got a little while longer to go. You know, they reduced your sentence to 30 years. I know you've been in there. You know, we write all the time. You're stressed out, but it's almost over. And you're an example for a lot of women. And especially y'all chicks out there, this is who I want to speak to. Really.
This is your,
you know, y'all chicks out there, the ride or dies. Let me tell you something. If you're not prepared to really, really ride a bid, don't deal with the dude that's doing this and this and that. Because with the feds, conspiracy law, he can't stand up and say, oh, I made her, or let me take her bid. They don't care about none of that shit. You're going down. And it's important that you know that who you associate with could potentially be your destiny, you know, and you can end up in prison. So don't be that ride or die unless you really, really, really ready to be that ride or die. Because women get left in prison. They don't have the support that men have. Women that have young children, their man leaves them. Next thing you know, they done got another chick pregnant. They don't write. They don't send commissary. You're by yourself. So just be very, very wise in what you're willing to do and accept, and know that it's possible that you could get caught up. Conspiracy is no joke. That's how Sandra ended up getting so much time. And I just hope that I, myself, my sisters, people like Sandra serve an example so that other women don't go through what we went through. I'm not blaming anybody else for what I went through, but I'm trying to help people avoid going through, you know, similar situations.
Absolutely. And so, and that's it. Is there anybody else that's incarcerated that you like to talk to right now? Because it's your floor.
CJ, yes, yeah. CJ. I love you to death, CJ. CJ taught herself how to play the guitar. So when I was writing music in prison, you know, a lot of the beats that I was able to write to came from her, you know, strumming that guitar. That was as close as I got to as good instrumentals. You know, we spent a lot of time writing. She's just a dope person. She got 12 years, so she's probably got another 2 or 3 years. Hold your head. You know, wait for you to get out here. You know, so I can bring you in the studio. Aisha King, my African sister. Hold your head. You know, it'll be over soon. It's just so many people. I don't want to start and leave people out.
It's okay.
You know,
it's dope. Because even the people who didn't receive a shout out from you, they know you can't think of all of them at this time.
Yeah, right. Not at the moment, but you know, Miss Terry. There's just so many of y'all that are just left behind in there, and I'm doing my part. I'm writing. You know, I'm talking. I'm hoping that what I'm doing will inspire some of these lawmakers to, you know, come down on some of these guidelines, because y'all don't deserve. Y'all are non-violent offenders. You don't deserve to do that much time the way y'all in there doing time. So just know I love y'all and I got y'all back, and I'm doing everything I can do to just, help and be an example. Show you that when you do come home, there's life after prison.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And this music. We gotta talk about this music real quick.
Let's talk about the music.
Y'all know now. I don't know who else is rapping on Long Island, Strong Island, but I'm holding Long Island down right now. I'm out here. I'm doing shows 3-4 times a week. I'm grinding. I'm in the studio. I'm a hard worker. I'm in the spa all day. I leave the spa. I'm at the studio. I go from the studio. Gotta go get hair and makeup done. I'm doing shows. I'm out here just living my best life, living my dream. I didn't let those people take it from me, so that be motivation.
But you gotta grind.
You gotta grind. You can't cry about it. Write your path. Write it out. Once you write it, once it goes from here to paper, it goes from intangible to tangible. It's real when it's written down. Take time and put time into yourself. Invest into yourself.
What does it take though? I mean, let's what does it take? I mean, is it challenging for you? Is it difficult?
Hell yeah, it's challenging.
Okay.
It's very challenging, but it's a means to an end. At the end of the day, the universe responds to thought. If you are confused with what you want out of life, it's just going to give you more confusion. You have to have a clear, concise picture of the life you want to live. And once you have that, then things will start to come your way to help assist you get that. But if you're not sure what you want and all you do is cry and complain, listen, whatever position you're in right now, that's where you are right now. The only way to change it is to start visualizing where you want to be tomorrow. And write it down, read it, look over it, commit it to memory, and it becomes something different for you later.
Absolutely. That's dope. Okay, so
I talk a lot, sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
That's what we talk about.
Listen, we could go all night, but that's what we're here for. We're here to allow you to tell your story and to talk specifically back to those sisters that you left behind. You know what I'm saying? And to be a beacon of light for that young person who may be setting down that path to try to get some money and mess with a dude who doing their thing. And like she said, we don't judge. We don't get into all that. Mm-hmm. But what we do is give you the knowledge and information so that you can prepare and plan and know what you're getting into.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not moral in the sense that I say, oh, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. Do whatever you want to do, but take your damn medicine too.
Pick up the book, the Prosperity Bible. I recommend that to everybody.
Okay, the Prosperity Bible.
Prosperity Bible. Pick that up.
Where can they find your books?
They can find my books on Amazon. Just put in Aisha Hall and all of my books come up. And it's very easy to find me. But I do recommend the Prosperity Bible though. It set me off on my path.
Okay, Prosperity Bible.
Yeah, it's not a Bible, not a religious book. It's Prosperity Bible, the greatest writings on wealth and prosperity. And it tells you the mindset you need to have to get the things you want.
Dope. That's something we got to pick up.
Absolutely.
Anybody else you want to shout out? Or
I want to shout out my boy. I want to give a shout out to Weedy. Weedy is Jesus Hall, who is a friend of mine, who I had, a pen pal type relationship with, who had a life sentence that got reduced, that we wrote a book together that's getting ready to come out, Baltimore Raw. Shout out to him with his crazy self. We were dealing with each other, and he's a little rough. He's a little rough, but he's been in the system. He's from Baltimore since he was about 18 or so.
Okay.
So he's grown up in the prison.
So it's expected to have some issues.
Expected, yes.
Okay.
So I just wish him the best when he comes out. He can start his life over. And hopefully this book that we worked on will be a good way for him to just segue back into society, tell his story, and make some money, and see the other side of making money without doing something that's, going to land you back in prison.
Absolutely. So, listen, Miss Aisha Hall, we want to thank you for allowing us in your lovely spa. Ladies, if you need some spa treatments, where you located at? You want people to come in and get some treatments?
Absolutely. Laser Studio Plus in West Hempstead. We're at 237 Nassau Boulevard. Call or make an appointment, 516-415-3055. You have any unwanted fat in your belly area, bra, back fat, cellulite on your legs, any of that stuff, we can help you with that. And it's very, very affordable. So, you can call that number, hit me on the gram at The Real Aisha Hall. You can DM me, whatever. Just hit me up. I do a lot of different things. You can come to my shows. You can pick up my books. You can hear my music. You can come to my spa.
You got some music out?
Oh, yes, absolutely. My project that's out right now is called the Aisha Hall Project. The cover actually is a picture of me at like 5 years old. and it's a mugshot, and it's a message like, yo, we target it from little kids, you know. So it's the Aisha Hall project because the music is my journey, you know, and most of the songs on there were written when I was incarcerated. So, you know, title, whatever, check me out and give me your feedback and just keep watching.
Absolutely. All right, so here you have it, man. Be on the lookout for that issue number 6. All Hail the Queens. We're gonna have Miss Aisha Hall in there. Check it out. Like, subscribe, follow our Instagram, Urban Life News Magazine, our YouTube channel, Urban Life News Magazine. That's also the website and the Twitter. And also, man, make sure your paperwork is good. Right?
Sure, it's good. You know the moment we go get mine,
I got a copy outside.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but stop getting mad. Excuse me. Stop getting mad when somebody asks you to see that work. Why wouldn't you want to show that work? It should be a badge of honor. Once you went through something and you withstood the pressures of time and you survived the dark side and you took your medicine, don't get offended when somebody asks you. As long as they don't disrespect you, right? Don't get offended.
They get offended because they can't show it. That's why, you know, that's why they don't want to show it. They didn't.
Listen, peace, free through me.